Hey everyone, I'm Raj and welcome to the channel. Today we're diving headfirst into a period that's more than just powdered wigs and tricorn hats, the American Revolution. Buckle up, because we're about to uncover the hidden stories and unexpected twists of this pivotal moment in history. The American Revolution wasn't a quick breakup, it was a full-on 8-year saga from 1775 to 1783. Think about that. Almost a decade of struggle, sacrifice, and of course, epic battles. From the Boston Tea Party to the battles of Lexington and Concord, the first armed conflicts that really set the stage for what was to come. We had the Siege of Boston, the Declaration of Independence, and then the brutal winter at Valley Forge. Through it all, the colonists, these farmers, shopkeepers, and ordinary people held on, fueled by this radical idea of self-governance. They believed they deserved a say in how they were ruled, and they were willing to fight for it. All right, let's rewind to that whole tea dumping incident in Boston Harbor. The Boston Tea Party wasn't just about the price of tea, although that was a factor. It was a powerful symbol of colonial resistance against British rule. The British East India Company had a monopoly on tea trade, meaning colonists had no choice but to buy from them, even if it meant paying unfair taxes. So, on that chilly December night in 1773, a group of colonists disguised as Native Americans boarded British ships and dumped 342 chests of tea into the harbour. It was a bold move, a giant "nope, we're not okay with this" to the British government. The Boston Tea Party galvanized colonial resistance, showing the world that the colonists were serious about their grievances. Let's talk about one of the most important documents in history, the Declaration of Independence, signed on July 4th, 1776, hence our Independence Day celebrations. This wasn't just some strongly worded letter, it was a radical declaration that shook the foundations of the world. The Declaration, largely penned by Thomas Jefferson, laid out the colonists' grievances against King George III and proclaimed their right to self-determination. It asserted those immortal words, "We hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal, that they are endowed by their Creator with certain unalienable rights, that among these are life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness." This idea that governments derive their power from the consent of the governed was revolutionary. It sent shockwaves across the globe, inspiring future revolutions and shaping the course of history. Let's be real here. The American colonists, while brave and determined, were facing an uphill battle against the mighty British Empire. They needed help, and that's where our friends across the pond come in. France. Now, France and Britain had a bit of a rivalry going on, think centuries of wars and tension. France saw the strategic advantage of supporting a new nation in North America, one that could challenge British dominance. And so they provided crucial military and financial aid to the American cause. Remember the Battle of Saratoga, that turning point we talked about? Yeah, French support was instrumental in that victory. They provided troops, ships, and supplies, all of which proved decisive in the colonists' fight for independence. The Battle of Saratoga, fought in the fall of 1777 in upstate New York, wasn't just another skirmish. It was a decisive victory for the Continental Army and a major turning point in the war. The British had a plan cut off New England from the rest of the colonies. Enter General Horatio Gates and the Continental Army. They were outnumbered, outgunned, but not outmatched. They fought fiercely, and after weeks of struggle, the British, led by General John Burgoyne, surrendered. This victory proved to the world, particularly to France, that the Americans could actually win this thing. Okay, let's talk about the man, the myth, the legend, George Washington. He wasn't just the guy on the dollar bill or the dude with the awesome hair. He was the commander-in-chief of the Continental Army and a true leader in the fight for independence. Washington wasn't some military genius who won every single battle. He had his share of defeats and setbacks, but he had this uncanny ability to keep the army together, even during the darkest of times. Remember that brutal winter at Valley Forge? Washington was right there with his troops, enduring the same hardships, inspiring them to keep going. His leadership was instrumental in keeping the revolution alive and building a new nation. After years of fighting, bloodshed, and revolutionary fervor, the war finally came to an end with the Treaty of Paris in 1783. This wasn't just a truce. It was a recognition by Great Britain that the United States of America was a free and independent nation. The treaty established the boundaries of the new nation, stretching from the Atlantic Ocean to the Mississippi River. It also addressed issues like fishing rights and debts owed to British creditors. The Treaty of Paris marked the birth of a new era, one where the ideals of liberty, equality, and self-governance would be put to the test. The American Revolution wasn't just a local affair, it had global repercussions. News of the colonists' fight for independence spread like wildfire, inspiring similar movements for freedom and self-determination around the world. The ideals enshrined in the Declaration of Independence, liberty, equality, and the pursuit of happiness resonated far beyond the shores of North America. The French Revolution, just a few years later, drew inspiration from the American experience. The revolutionaries in France looked to the United States as a model for their own struggle against monarchy and oppression. From Latin America to Europe, the American Revolution sparked a chain reaction of revolutions and independence movements that reshaped the political landscape of the world. When we think of the American Revolution, we often picture men on battlefields, but the truth is, women played a vital role in the fight for independence. They were more than just wives and mothers. They were activists, soldiers, spies, and crucial contributors to the war effort. Women boycotted British goods, organized fundraising efforts, and even published articles and pamphlets supporting the cause. Women like Deborah Sampson, disguised as a man, fought in the Continental Army. Others, like Lydia Darrah, used their wit and courage to spy for the Americans, gathering crucial intelligence on British troop movements. The American Revolution wouldn't have been possible without the contributions of countless women who risked their lives and livelihoods for the cause of freedom. The American Revolution wasn't just about breaking free from British rule. It was about building something new, something better. After the war, the newly independent states realized they needed a stronger government to bind them together. The Articles of Confederation, the first attempt at a national government, just wasn't cutting it. So, in 1787, delegates from the states gathered in Philadelphia for the Constitutional Convention. The Constitution they drafted was a remarkable document. It created a system of government based on separation of powers, checks and balances, and the protection of individual rights. The American Revolution continued in the halls of government, in the words of the Constitution, and in the ongoing struggle to create a more just and equitable society. Wow, that was a journey through some of the lesser-known corners of the American Revolution. It's amazing how much history is packed into this pivotal period. If you enjoyed this deep dive into the American Revolution, don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe to the channel for more fascinating history facts. Until next time, keep exploring, keep questioning, and keep the love of history alive.